Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2005 sequel direct-to-video film American Pie Presents Bandcamp. So this stars Eugene Levy is back as Mr. Levinstein. Noah Levinstein, he plays the macro at Tall Oaks Bandcamp. Tad Hilgenbrink, this is our introduction to him as an actor, but also he plays the character of Matt Stifler, who is Stifler's younger brother. But there's a different actor who plays Stifler's younger brother in the first and second film. He's not in the third film. And then Tad is introduced as Stifler's younger brother, who's now going to be a senior in high school at East Great Falls. Ariel Kebel is in this. She plays Elise. We know and love her from John Tucker Must Die. She's in a slew of other films. Who else? Jason Earls is in this. This is before his Hannah Montana days. Very weird to see the transition, adult film to kid show. So many other people are in this. Chris Owen is back as Sherman. A slew of other people. So what? Oh, who else did I want to mention? Matt Barr. Matt Barr plays Brandon Vanderkamp in this. He's in a slew of other films as well, and TV shows. Now, this film is interesting. Watching this in 22 versus 17 years ago when this first came out. I love the culture of it. I was 15 when this film came out. We all wore those clothes. We all talk that way. It's just how. It's a great representation of hairstyle and slang and what was popular in 2005. So Tad's character of Matt has to go to band camp at Tall Oaks because he pulls a prank on the senior class who are graduating, and he has to now go to band camp over the summer in order for him to stay a senior and graduate. He reconnects with his friend Elise from back in the day, who's now the director of the camp, of the band for the school, who's competing. So it's a competition of camp. If you've gone to camp, you know that you're all on different teams. You have these different competitions. You win certain points. There's a big ceremony at the end. That's how camp works. I've gone to summer camp. This was very, very reminiscent of summer camp. Now, things that did not age well is the whole videotaping of the girls in the showers, the sneaking around with night vision goggles, catching people having sex in the woods. Like, that did not age well at all. That's not a thing anymore. But it was a thing because of the Girls Gone Wild videos throughout MTV and throughout VH1 and all that good jazz. And that franchise made a crap ton of money of filming girls on spring break going wild. And that's translated into this film of Matt's installation of wanting to do this to get some, good dirt on the bandies, as he calls them. That way he's not labeled a bandy from his jock friends and his cheerleader friends, because he is a football player. So how dare he associate with the band kids? So he wants to get revenge on them, film them, make a Bandies Gone Wild kind of a thing. So it makes sense in the context of the time that the film was made and the plot points of the story of why that was a thing. But it's not a thing anymore, so it would never be trailed upon, trivialized within a plot point in a story. So that didn't age well, but it's a perfect representation of the time that the film came out. I was 15 in 2005 when this came out, exploring different likes and dislikes of orientation, trying to figure out my way in the world to begin with, friends trying to figure out their way in the world to begin with, what we don't like, what we like. So to have this being a good representation of how we dressed, how we talked, what our hair looked like, the incredible soundtrack that was a part of it, and it's incredible because we grew up with it. It's a perfect example of 2005. I loved the comedy aspect of it. I did love the pranking aspect of it. Certain things didn't age well, but certain things did age well. The character development of Matt's character, then helping Elise at the end, very cool, very smart. Having Sherman as as a guidance counselor at the school, and then having that, not so much a heart-to-heart, but a silent moment where Matt literally asks him, "Did everybody hate my brother?" in regards to Steve, and Sherman doesn't respond. And then Matt knew that everybody didn't like Steve because Steve was an asshole. It's very cool seeing the growth of certain characters and then what happens next. So Noah mentions that Michelle couldn't come back to camp as the macro counselor, which I can't remember what the acronym stands for because she's currently pregnant. But The timeline is off because if she's pregnant in '05 and then American Reunion is what, 2012, that means the kid should have been around like 7, but the kid in the film is roughly like 2, 3. So like, we'll talk about that later, the lack of time. But yes, American Pie presents Man Camp. I have watched this film so many times when I was a teenager. Absolutely obsessed with this film when I was a teenager. Still like it now, 17 years later. Who would have thought? It's nostalgia for me. It's pure nostalgia. That is definitely what I'm seeing towards it. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.